Such thing as too much of a good thing. And I could say the same thing for us, considering how dry it's been for so long in parts of southern New England, even northern New England, dealing with some nasty drought conditions. But this rain that we've had the last 48 hours, for that reason, has actually been tremendously helpful. Obviously, there's still rain coming down here on satellite and radar. You can see the showers, the mist, the drizzle close to home. And then as we look off toward the Cape and parts of the South Shore, if you're heading out toward Plymouth this morning, that's where the heavy stuff is still coming down, even some thunder and lightning out in that direction. Now, rain has been impressive the last 48 hours. And again, I like to look at the silver linings. Obviously, yesterday, a really uncomfortable day. I hope everyone stayed safe and as dry as possible. But for the sake of our dry conditions, this is helping us play catch up here. More than 3 inches of rain having fallen in Richmond in 2 days. Exeter, more than 3 inches as well. And the same in Westport, all the way down to West Warwick, where we saw more than 2.5 inches. And that's a pretty decent stretch of rainfall. As for what we're seeing right now, you can still see the raindrops in the Providence Skycam here. And we are going to have more of that, the nuisance weather, rather than the super heavy stuff here at home as we move throughout the day. Temperatures starting out in the mid 50s, and it's still quite breezy with those gusts getting into the 20s and 30s. In fact, you can see a little more widespread. The numbers relatively stagnant, or relatively consistent, I should say, as we look across the wind gust map. And that's what we'll feel, especially the first part of the day. With that, and with the location of this storm, by the way, we are still seeing some of those big waves. Not a surprise that the Block Island Ferry has put things on pause, at least for the first part of the morning. As we move later through the afternoon, this storm starts to pull away, but it's a slow, steady process. As you can see, the heaviest rains still out for parts of the Cape, the islands, and even parts of the South Shore, while we end up with more of the nuisance stuff, the showers, the mist, and the drizzle, making for a very raw feeling day, especially with the wind, but not a super dangerous one when it comes down to the amount of rain that we're going to get and the winds steadily dying down in the second half of the day. Hour by hour showing you that we also see some relatively stagnant temperatures throughout our day as well, with the gusts getting into the 20s, the speeds in the teens, and the temperatures in the mid to upper 50s by the end of the afternoon. I would say layers are not a bad idea. It's just going to feel cool for this time of year. And it is, by the way. We're about 5 degrees below average across the board when it comes to our high temperatures. Overnight tonight, we're back down into the 40s, cloudy and cool. And we actually have some relatively big changes as we move through the next couple of days. Quick look at Futurecast shows you as we get into tomorrow, yeah, we start with some sunshine, which is lovely, but clouds come back in with a cold front that comes through. And before everyone gets too up in arms, this front is relatively dry. So we're just looking at clouds, not more rainfall, but it is going to do a number on our temperatures as we go through these next couple of days. We go from the mid 60s tomorrow back to the mid 50s by the time we get to Thursday, steadily climbing from there and getting sunnier as well. Still breezy tomorrow and Thursday, but beautiful sunshine Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. Clouds increase throughout the day, but we keep most of that sunshine around, especially in the morning.